Hello, my loves. I hope that your heart is feeling safe and held and light. I am really excited for today's video because I really am hoping that it's going to make you feel safer in your body. And I think that's one of the most valuable things that we can feel moving through this existence is to feel at home in ourselves and not to hold back any part of our expression that feels good and nourishing to us. And I feel like I'm practicing that right now, even because I was like overthinking, shooting so much in my bathroom. But I realized that I feel so safe talking to you here. And I think it's because when I was a little girl, I would always retreat to my bathroom just to process life, to allow my inner world to sprawl out, to breathe. And that's where I would do a lot of my self-care, a lot of my self-honoring. And I really like meeting you here because I think it allows me to be my most raw, vulnerable, like I said, open self. And so I hope you don't mind. The bathroom feels like a safe space. But this video is rooted in my strong belief that our experience here on this earth is meant to be incredibly orgasmic. Orgasmic, okay? And life is a sensual experience. It is full of color and texture, and we are meant to drink up every single drop of it. But I feel like so many of us have difficulty accessing this depth of pleasure for a plethora of reasons. I think one major reason for a lot of us is because of the indoctrination of our bodies with shame and fear and conditioning, these false stories that not only shape the way in which we exist, but also down to the detail of what we allow ourselves to receive, what we allow ourselves to feel. I know for me, for a long time, I felt like I had this invisible veil placed over me that made any evidence that I was seeking or enjoyed pleasure to just feel blatantly wrong or inappropriate. And I realized as I began to heal this part of myself just how multi-layered it was. There were so many parts of me that were struggling to sink into my body and to embody all that I was feeling and to outwardly let it flow. And one of those parts was this common misconception, I think, that sensuality cannot exist with all of your dimensions. I had this idea that sensuality was only associated with the serious, sultry, like sexual version of me. And that is just simply not true. Sensuality can coexist with every single version of you, your goofy side, your shy side, your awkward side, because sensuality at its core is the enjoyment and expression and the pursuit of physical pleasure. And so when we sit with that definition of sensuality, we can very clearly see that this is a fluid and very natural, primal experience of the body. And your body, this vessel, is housing your soul. And I find that when we allow our sensuality, this natural expression of feeling pleasure, when we allow that to breathe, we are actively expanding the edges of our universe, both inner and outer. And I'm of the opinion that opening and deepening this channel is the basis of our creative source. It is the fuel for our flow and expression. So I'm now at a point on my journey where sensuality has become my unconditional baseline. It is an ongoing practice of me boldly expressing how I'm soaking up the sweet juices of this existence, how I'm allowing my body's response to stimuli to move through me fully, and also just practicing being my best friend, just affirming myself that pleasure is my birthright. And the thing is, when you recognize something as your birthright, there is nothing anyone can say or do to remove that truth from you, to take it from you. And yeah, you just frankly don't care what anyone has to say about it. And that's my goal for you. I want you to be so rooted in your body, in your truth, in your sensuality, that it doesn't matter what family has to say, your friends, society, whatever it is, that you love yourself and your body and your ability to freely express so much that you boldly step in it. So I've taken note of all of the inner and outer shifts that I've made to really drop deeply into my sensuality, no matter where I am, who I'm with, what I'm doing, without retreating back to those old stories of shame, fear, all the things we left in the past. And yeah, they're very simple practices, I think, that will help you begin to awaken and embody this very sacred part of yourself, because it is my belief that to be in your sensuality is what it means to truly live. Growing up, I watched my mom play a million roles. It was rare to see her resting, to see her sink into the depth of life's pleasures, even when her body called for it. But our retreats from the fast pace of life were always alongside the ocean, and there it was as if something shifted. There I would watch her become the most magical being I had ever seen. I saw her meet Mother Ocean and surrender to the slowness of the divine feminine. In those moments, there was a kind of birthing of her sensuality, a melting into her body, allowing herself to receive, rather than the constant state of giving I had grown so used to finding her in. Mother Ocean is a teacher in this way. She teaches us to slow down. She teaches us the essence of allure as she pulls you in with the curves of her winds, the salty yet refreshing mist of her waters, and the soft, sandy grounds she offers us for rest. I think many of us have been conditioned to exist at a certain speed. There's this subliminal story woven into us as we emerge from childhood, that in fact there is no time to smell the flowers, that our movements must be quick and purposeful. But sensuality, I've learned, belongs to slowness. Like the way sand belongs to tide or meditation belongs to breath, slowness is the path to noticing ourselves, noticing the stimuli in our environment and how it all settles and feels in our bodies. This is the first place you will find the treasure of sensuality. Instead of mindlessly rushing through the sensations we've been gifted, we must sink into our autonomy, our ability to slow, to open our bodies fully to receive. And nature teaches us that we must do it with boldness, with understanding that it is the only natural step forward. I see sensuality as a dance, a delicate art of engaging with life through our senses, moment by moment, letting life touch you, letting it move through you. Taste, touch, smell, sound, sight, portals, languages of romance we can speak to ourselves. I honor my sensuality as a conversation with my body, an intimate dialogue between my soul and vessel, a reminder that I am pulsing with aliveness right here, right now. Sink into what your eyes are taking in. I see a spectrum of silky, blue-shaded waves folding and unfolding. I see them spilling into the horizon, against a sky so wide it feels endless. Sink into the flavors meeting your tongue. I taste earth's sweet, tart, and juicy pulp spilling over my lips. Listen closely and intently to the melodies gracing your ears. I hear the wind threading softly through my hair, water collapsing onto the shore, laughter carried from somewhere just out of reach like secrets wrapped in sunlight. Breathe it all in, cherishing your ability to take in life's scent. I smell salt clinging to the air, the fragrance of nostalgic memories, and then sink into your gift of touch. I can feel the warmth of my skin when it meets the sun, the grainy, grounding sensation of sand falling between my fingertips. This is where our sensuality lives, exciting our senses by connecting with them, by giving them ample space and glory to be felt. I feel like what completely transformed my relationship with my sensuality was the moment I began to freely express myself. When I released all of the fear, the shame, the hesitancy to allow my feeling to flow through my channels was the moment I felt completely liberated. And I remember when this happened because it was like I realized that I am a soul incarnated in this vessel, in this body. Wow. Like just sitting with that. And like I am here to experience this gift of life, these miracles that are all around us, that are making us feel all of these, this large spectrum of emotion. Why in the world would I basically force that energy to stagnate, to stay within me and not be able to flow outwards and express? So for me, a lot of the time that just looks like allowing the sun to hit my face and throwing my head back, right? Taking it all in or letting out a good a lot of the time the just hits it, or a deep sigh, letting out a deep sigh when something feels good. I know when I feel joy, I feel really jubilant. I like to dance. I love to hit this movement here, especially when I'm eating and the food is just tasting so good. I'm like, like there's nothing wrong with that. And I think society has made us to feel like we must mute ourselves, like we must hide all of the pleasure that we're feeling within, and that expressing it is taking up too much space. It's too much, it's extra. And it's like, that is the complete opposite of the truth. You know, we are here to live. We are here to express how it feels to live. And the muting of that is like putting a chokehold on your soul, you know? It's an injustice. It's a crime. Like it's not right. I guess I'm trying to say it's not right. When I dance or I laugh or I move intuitively, it truly feels like a radical act of self love because I'm releasing the shame and judgments and perceptions of others and putting my own expression first, putting my own life first. I think when we do that, we are not only inviting other people to do the same, to center and sink into their own sensual bodies, but what we're also doing is expanding the amount of grace we're able to extend to others. I think a lot of the time when we hold this shame and self judgment within, we are subconsciously projecting it onto other people. And so we're not able to hold the expression, the wide range of expression that other human beings and our animal kin and our plant kin, right? It extends so far and wide. The beautiful thing is that when you stop filtering yourself, it makes you more magnetic, more alluring, because other beings see how you're vibrating higher, how you're unapologetically being yourself. And that makes other people want that too, like they want to know this wisdom because everyone feels this deep within, this yearning to be themselves, to allow themselves to flow, and also to allow themselves to outwardly express their pleasure because it is something that is so blocked within so many of us. And so I think when we center within our sensual bodies, we really open up so many channels for deeper connection with life, with other human beings, and with ourselves, most importantly. But in my opinion, I think accessing your sensual expression is also rooted in allowing anger and sadness and all the whole spectrum of emotions to flow out of you. Because I used to really hesitate to cry in front of other people or express like really difficult emotions. And as soon as I allowed myself to let my guard down, I feel like I was able to drop deeper into my sensual body and so many other ways as well. But I think if you're new to this journey of expressing yourself in this way, especially publicly, and you have some hesitancy or fear or shame still lingering, what can be really helpful is to carry around a journal and note taking it there how, the stimuli in your environment is making you feel. Where in your body is it settling? And also exploring with your inner child, maybe where that hesitancy or fear is coming from, because our inner children hold so much wisdom. They have so much to say. And I found that when I held my inner child's hand and when we walked down that path of exploring how did we get here to this point of not being a sensual being, when I know that I came here to be that and that I am that in reality, that really helped me to unlock some things that were lingering in the shadows and to discover all of the blocks that were preventing me from getting here into this full sensual embodiment. The embodiment of our sensuality relies on our vibration, an unwavering recognition that our bodies are nature. And just as we resist the pollution of our lands, we must also radically oppose the pollution of our vessels. So much of this pollution stems from the clothing we choose to wear. Pollution in the form of force and discomfort. Pollution in the form of plastics and toxins disguised as fabric. Our sensuality thrives when we feel safe and comfortable, and so I've learned to listen to what my body calls for. I'm drawn to cloth that makes me feel beautiful and at home in myself. Colors that soothe my eyes, shapes that let me express in full breath. Fabric that is light, flowing, ethereal. Threads that wrap around me like a poem, hugging me where I want, melting like butter into my skin. A merging of sorts, an extension of me. When I choose pieces that are made with intention, slow, ethical, and kind to the earth, I feel safe to sink deeper into my body. I can center within and open my senses wide, savoring the sweetness of experience without hesitation. This is exactly how I feel when I'm wrapped in the loving fabrics of Indigo Luna. I'm free, held, and in ever-flowing conversation with my body. Clothing made with this much love and intention is a sweet reminder that what we place on our bodies is an integral part of our sensual awakening. It is a love note inviting us to open ourselves wider to pleasure. So if you're seeking fabric that invites you to sink deeper into your body, embrace your sensuality, and uplifts your energy, you can use my link in the description for 10% off at Indigo Luna. Each of our bodies holds its own language, and learning to speak it fluently is the key to sensual embodiment. Whether I'm at home or traveling, I always have my essentials. Little pleasures that make me feel connected to my body and what it adores. My eyes long for the soft, orange-hued glow of candlelight. My nose anticipates the grounding scent of steamed patchouli. My ears desire smooth and sultry sounds that soften the edges of my mind. My skin awaits the warmth of oil massaged into every dip and curve, all while my mouth craves a single piece of cacao, followed by a cup of herbal tea. These curated offerings are tiny invitations to please myself, opening up my unique pathways to pleasure and creating a sanctuary to arouse my sensuality wherever I go. And what's so magical is that this aura of pleasure stays with you. It radiates outward from every pore in each breath, evidence of the devotion, self-love, and pleasure you've gifted yourself. So what sensations feel like a sweet dose of honey to your body? Gather them, savor them, and let your body respond to just how good it feels. We're talking about sensuality. Get down on your knees. Let them hear you speak with your feelings. Yeah. That's too good. All right, let's get down to business now. Every time I drink a nettle, every time I use one of these things and I drink nettle, it's like the nettles choke me a little bit. My last suggestion is to carve out space for self-pleasure, sexual self-pleasure. And this is an act of self-love that unfortunately a lot of us have been conditioned to believe is embarrassing or shameful, but I'm here to affirm you that this is completely normal and, in my opinion, a necessary exploration with the self and the sensual body. Like the simple fact that we are able to bring ourselves to a state of ecstasy, of euphoric pleasure using these hands that we were given is simply divine. That is just miraculous, and I don't think that it should be taken lightly. Let's say that. Let's just say that. Every single time I make love to myself, I can feel the gratitude just radiating off of my body as if it's thanking me for intentionally spending time with it, intentionally making love to myself instead of putting the entirety of my route to pleasure in someone else's hands. I feel like not only does this deepen your relationship with your body, but it also allows you to privately melt into yourself, to delve into all of the feelings and sensations that live within you that you may have not explored or have found yet. But also, it allows you to bring the sensual fluency into your partnerships with others. For example, instead of inviting someone into your home and expecting them to know exactly where you keep your cookie jar, you can welcome them in and show them exactly where they can find it, exactly where you keep it. And I'm not saying that the search and exploration within intimacy is not healthy or a fun part of being with someone else, right? Like there's value in that too. But if we do, in this example, think of our bodies as homes and we remember that we have all of these unique details, aka pleasure points, we can easily guide someone and have confidence and body wisdom to share this roadmap to our pleasure. And there's something really special about knowing yourself that intimately to be able to bring someone into those secret rooms within yourself because you've traveled it before. You know which lanes to turn down, which roads. You know the speed at which to travel them. You get what I'm saying? But also, self pleasure doesn't have to be explicitly sexual, right? It can simply just be touching yourself where it feels good, whether that's oiling your skin after the shower or like massaging your shoulders, massaging your scalp, or just like simply running your fingers along your body. There are so many ways that we can excite ourselves, excite our senses. And I find that these small acts are reminders of what it feels like to be alive, what it feels like to feel deeply, and also just the fact that we can bring ourselves into an orgasmic state whenever we shall please. And there's so much power in that. I feel like my current morning ritual is a really good example of this because I love to massage my scalp in the morning, and I will wake up and I'll go in the bathroom and just like create my own little sanctuary. I'll dim the lights, I'll light the candle, I put my native flutes on. It's heaven in there. And I take my hair out and I get my homemade oil and I just saturate my scalp. Not saturate, but you know what I'm saying. I apply some drops and then I just really fall into myself and massage my scalp and send myself love and sway to the flutes. And I just allow my body to react to all of the soothing stimuli that I'm offering it. So sometimes that's stretching, sometimes that's dancing, swaying, like I said, just moaning, even like sighing. Yeah, I feel like that is a really good practice, maybe to like create your own ritual where you can unapologetically, without shame, without self judgment, just allow yourself to please yourself and react to it. But whatever your self pleasure looks like, it is an act of reverence. It is nothing to be ashamed of, it's nothing to hide, it's completely natural and necessary, in my opinion. And I find that self pleasure is a living reminder that I am my first home, I am my first sanctuary, I am my first lover. And I think the more that we can uplift this kind of devotion to ourselves, this devotion to our bodies and our sensuality, the more we all collectively will feel a lot more confident in inhabiting our bodies and expressing ourselves, and also just to be seen and to be felt by ourselves and by others. So I really hope that this video found you exactly where you are, that it met you where you are in your journey to feeling more safe, feeling more comfortable in your body, and melting into it with the utmost love. I love you so much, so dearly, and I'm sending you all of my hugs. Until next time. Mwah. See ya!